Aloha, and welcome to another edition of Living Authentically Out Loud. Adena Sampson here. And today's topic, the gift of giving. What it means to truly give, and what a gift that is. Do you believe in angels? Angels in heaven? Earth angels like you and I, individuals, doing great things, giving from our hearts openly, with no expectations, for no other reason than just to give. In this time, in this space, in this holiday season, how can you open up your heart to give? Just because. So with that, I'm going to share with you a story. Recently, things have shifted, and I've been sent many great things via email. I found another story that really touched my heart, my soul, brought me to tears, and I wanted to share it with you. So sit with this, see how it feels, and see how you can learn from this story. In September 1960, I woke up one morning with 6 hungry babies and just 75 cents in my pocket. Their father was gone. The boys ranged from 3 months to 7 years. Their sister was 2. Their dad had never been much of a presence in their life, and they feared his presence. Whenever they heard his tires crunch on the gravel driveway, they would scramble to hide underneath their beds. He did manage to leave $15 a week to buy groceries. Now that he had decided to leave, there would be no more beatings, but no food either. If there was a welfare system in effect in southern Indiana at that time, I certainly knew nothing about it. I scrubbed the kids till they looked brand new, and I put them in the car, and I put on my best homemade dress, and we took off in the rusty old 51 Chevy and drove off to find a job. The 7 of us went to every factory, every store, and every restaurant in our small town. No luck. The kids stayed crammed in the car and tried to be quiet when I tried to convince everyone and anyone who would listen that I was willing to learn or do anything. I had to have a job. Still no luck. The last place I went to just a few miles out of town was an old root beer factory, and it had been converted into a truck stop. It was called the Big Wheel. An old lady named Granny owned the place, and she peeked out of the window from time to time at all of those kids. She needed someone on the graveyard shift, 11 at night until 7 in the morning. She paid 65 cents an hour, and I could start that night. I raced home and called the teenager down the street to babysit, who babysat for people. I bargained with her to come in and sleep on my sofa for $1 a night. She could drive and arrive in her pajamas, and the kids would already be asleep. This seemed like a good arrangement to her, so we made a deal. That night when the little ones and I knelt to pray, we all thanked God for finding Mommy a job. And so I started at the Big Wheel. When I got home in the mornings, I woke up the babysitter and I sent her home with $1 of my tip money, fully half of what I averaged every night. As the weeks went by, heating bills added up and strained to my meager wage. The tires on the old Chevy had a consistency of penny balloons and began to leak. I had to fill them with air on the way to work and again every morning before I could go home. One bleak fall morning, I dragged myself to the car to go home and found 4 tires in the back seat. New tires. There was no note, no nothing. Just those beautiful, brand new tires. Had angels taken up residence in Indiana? I wondered. I made a deal with the local service station. In exchange for the mounting my new tires, I would clean up his office. I remember it took me a lot longer to scrub his floor than it did for him to do the tires. I was now working 6 nights instead of 5, and it still wasn't enough. Christmas was coming, and I knew there would be no money for toys for the kids. I found a can of red paint, and I started repairing and painting some old toys. Then I hid them in the basement so there would be something for Santa to deliver on Christmas morning. Clothes were a worry, too. I was sewing patches on top of patches on the boys' pants, and soon they would be too far gone to repair. On Christmas Eve, the usual customers were drinking coffee at the Big Wheel. There were truckers, Lee, Frank, and Jim, and the state trooper named Joe. A few musicians were hanging around after the gig, and they were dropping nickels in the pinball machine. The regulars all just sat around and talked to the wee hours of the morning and then left to go home before the sun came up. When it's time for me to go home at 7 o'clock on Christmas morning, to my amazement, my old, battered Chevy was filled to the top with boxes of all shapes and sizes. I quickly opened the driver's side door, crawled inside, and kneeled in front, facing the back seat. Reaching back, I pulled one of the lid off the top of the box. Inside was a whole case of blue jeans, sizes 2 to 10. I looked inside the other box. It was full of shirts to go with the jeans. Then I peeked inside some of the other boxes. There was candy, nuts, bananas, a bag of groceries. There was an enormous ham for baking, canned vegetables, potatoes. There was pudding, Jell-O, cookies. There was a whole bag of laundry supplies and cleaning items. There were 5 toy trucks and 1 beautiful little doll. As I drove back through the empty streets, as the sun slowly rose on the most amazing Christmas day of my life, I was sobbing with gratitude. And I will never forget the joy on the faces of my little ones that morning. Yes, there were angels in Indiana that long ago December, and they all hung out at the Big Wheel Truck Shop. So with that, it brings tears to my eyes, and I'm sharing with you this story. How does it make you feel? When you give, do you give with expectations? No, I hope not. This holiday season, right now, what do you have that so many people don't? Be in gratitude for everything that you have. Be an angel, an earth angel, right? I invite you to find your strength in love. Be the change you want to see in this world right now. Reach out and extend a helping hand with no expectations. Maybe without even being recognized for it, right? The time is now. Yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, right? And today is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Happy holidays. Much love, light, and aloha. Be in the present. Give the gift of giving. OutLoudProductions.tv, where we offer a safe place for you to live in your truth. Namaste. From my heart to yours.